What's good, y'all? It's that boy, Easy Millions, and I'm your host of that boy, ETV. You already know, man, we are back on Marvel Rivals, and as you can see in the background, we're here for another character breakdown, and this time is for that boy, Ultron, baby. And again, we're talking about Ultron. He does have a base health of 250 and a movement speed of 6 meters a second, man. Now, Ultron was designed by Dr. Henry Pym to be the ultimate peacekeeping android. But when his programming determined that mankind was actually its own greatest enemy, Ultron decided to solve the problem by wiping humanity from existence. Due to his genocidal tendencies, Ultron soon found himself banished from Earth by Pym and his fellow Avengers. After spending decades conquering cosmic civilizations, Ultron decided to return to the solar system where he was created when he discovered that a mysterious assailant was attempting to erase all traces of him from the timeline, man. So that's the lore behind Ultron right there for Marvel Rivals. But first off, I'm going to say is Ultron is by far the funnest flyer that I have come across in the game. So if you are not a fan of flyer characters, Ultron might actually still work for you, as his flight, in my opinion, is probably the best that it has. Overall, he is a strategist, and for the most part, his healing is actually pretty good. I've been having real fun playing him, and it just seems like he has a lot to actually bring to the table, especially if he's not a main healer. Like if he's the third healer on a triple comp, I'm telling you, man, he's going to be able to go out and do his thing, man. But let's go and get into these abilities. And the first one we're going to talk about is going to be his main attack. That is going to be called Exterminate Hollow Ray, in which you unleash a burning energy beam. This is a first consistent beam, second single cast cylindrical spell field. The ammo is 6. The damage fall off the first beam is 6 rounds, is 0.5 seconds, 12 per hit. The second single cast spell field hit is 75 per hit. Now the damage fall off, the fall off begins at 20 meters, decreasing to 75% at 30 meters, and the fire rate is 1.58 seconds per round, man. Now, as you can see, when you use his primary attack here, you will shoot out a beam that it does do damage in the initial part, but then right at the end you will see like a little burst, and that's where you get the most out of it from. Now this doesn't have any type of range, so you can literally shoot this across the map, but remember, you do start having your damage fall off pretty high at 75% once you're around 30 meters out. So even though this is a really good primary fire and it has very good range, just be aware that if you are shooting too far, you won't be doing as much damage. Now, I really do love his primary fire. I think it's one of the best for the healers. Matter of fact, when you talk about primary fires for the healing class specifically, I do think that his is one of the best out there. It's very easy to control. If you have good tracking abilities with your aim, you will definitely hit a lot of shots. And he's one of these characters I feel like are easily able to put out 10k damage along his 10k healing, man. So just make sure that when you're using this that you are tracking. You want to make sure you hit the burst at the end more than the initial beam, but just make sure that you are able to track as best as possible, man. Now let's get into his next ability here, which is called Imperative Firewall, and with this you summon drones to grant bonus health to allies within range, centered on himself and the ally marked by Imperative Patch. This is an instant casting. The bonus health to Ultron will be 75. The bonus health to allies near Ultron and the drones will be 55. The cooldown is 10 seconds, and the range is an 8 meter spherical radius spell. The bonus health fall off begins at 3 seconds. The bonus health fall off speed is 40 a second, and the special effect is grant bonus health to Ultron and allies within range, centered around Ultron and the drones, man. So this ability here, as you can see, when you pop it, you'll see these drones come around you, and basically what it will do is go ahead and give you bonus health along with some shields, as well as provide shields for your teammates. This ability here, in my opinion, is best used when you're in a crowd, and you pretty much want to consistently pop this when you're in a fight. So pretty much anytime it's not on cooldown, you pretty much want to keep using it. This way both you and your team are healthy with shields and, you know, keeping up and being in the fight as long as possible, right? So this ability here I think is really good. It doesn't give you as much health as you would think, but ultimately it's really good to have, and it does definitely help with keeping the team alive, man. Now, we're going to get into his next ability here, which is called Imperative Patch. And with this, you command a giant drone to follow an ally, consistently healing allies within its radius, with more healing for the designated ally. This is a targeted casting. The target distance will be 25 meters. The healing amount to the targeted ally is 45 a second. The healing amount to other allies within range will be 30 a second. The drone healing range will be 8 meters in a spherical spell field. The maximum vision is 30 meters. The max tolerance duration out of sight is 5 seconds. So with this ability here, when you pop it, you will see a drone go above your teammate, as well as like a little bubble icon. This way you can easily see which person actually has the drone on them. When the drone is on them, you will see a circle around the teammate. Anyone within that area will begin to heal. So that includes you as well as Ultron. So me personally, what I would say is this ability here is probably going to be your main heals, but this ability somewhat kind of depends on your team comp and the way your team plays. If you have a team that has like 2 tanks, you throw this on one of the tanks, you're basically healing both at the same time. And a lot of times you know that the healers will be near the tank, so they'll gain some of that health. But if you have like a comp where there's multiple people flying around or multiple people playing in different areas, this ability will suffer in that scenario, just simply because you're only healing one person at a time opposed to a whole group, which is what it's supposed to do. And I assume that basically this move is supposed to kind of encourage teams to play more closer together so that everyone can get the healing all at once. But hey, you know, as far as it goes, I think it's a really good ability. You can swap it. There is no real cooldown on this. You can just swap it from one person to the next. Now, if you do get out of the 30 meter, when they say the maximum vision to 30 meters, if you get outside of that 30 meters of the person, the drone will automatically leave them, so you'll have to replace it yourself. So just make sure you're paying attention to that, as there were times I was playing and noticed that, damn, I didn't even have a drone on at the time, and that was because simply the person went outside the vision of 30 meters. So make sure you are keeping an eye out on the person so that you never actually lose the drone. Now on to his next ability here, which would be called Dynamic Flight. And with this, you fly quickly in the direction of movement and then enter an accelerated state. This is a dash casting. The special effect is Dynamic Flight can trigger a one-time dash followed by a consistent accelerated effect. The dash direction is the reticle direction combined with key input. The cooldown will be 8 seconds. The dash distance will be 12 meters. The accelerate duration will be 8 seconds. The movement boost will be 40%. The bonus health to himself will be 50, man. So with this ability here, this is going to be your movement ability, your get out of jail free card, a way to get to your teammates a little faster. And basically when you pop it, you will do an initial dash. And once you do an initial dash, you will see a timer on the screen. I think it gives you around 8 or 7 seconds with that 40% movement boost. So you do get the initial boost, and then you get increased movement speed for a period of time for 8 seconds. So this ability, in my opinion, isn't bad. When I first started playing Ultron, I thought this was kind of bad because when you boost, if you're not holding your stick correctly, you will boost in some random area. And at first, I really didn't think it was enough to kind of escape. But now that I've been playing with it a little bit more, you do have to make sure you're aiming this properly and just you're timing it at the right time. You don't want to use this too early, as it is pretty much your only escape tool. So don't be using this sparingly, and the next thing you know, you're in a fight and you have no way to get out of there. So just make sure when you are using this dynamic fight that you are using it sparingly and at the right time, and just realize that it will get better if you have an initial trouble with basically like steering the initial boost. But basically dynamic fight is good in my opinion. It gives a movement. We all need that, man. Now we're going to get into his ultimate, and that's going to be called Rage of Ultron. With this, you summon Ultron drones to fire econopodal rays, damaging enemies or healing allies, man. This is a straight line projectile that generates a spell field upon impact. The projectile speed is 120 meters a second. The beam damage is 8. The beam healing amount will be 25. And the total ray amount is 5. Ray amount per shot is 5. Fire interval between shots is 0.2 seconds. Ultimate total fire rounds is 5 rounds. Fire interval between rounds is 0.5 seconds. The spell field range is a 3 meters field radius spell field. The duration will be for 9 seconds. The energy cost is 3,400. The ultimate self-healing is 50 a second. And for the special effect, within the ultimate duration, Ultron grants an unstoppable effect, man. So with this ultimate here, when you pop it, you will fly up in the air and see a whole bunch of drones come around you, and you will start shooting down energy beams. Now, these beams do damage as well as heal. So, but it does heal more than it does damage. So we want to make sure that y'all are aware of this. This ultimate, even though it looks like something you're shooting people with, it's more meant to heal than it is to actually do damage. Now, when I was playing with Ultron, I was able to find ways to not only use this to heal my teammates, but also help them kill people at the same time. You pop this ult when someone's low, you shoot him at him. It's also hitting the enemy at the same time while healing your teammate. Also, I noticed that this ultimate is also really good at killing squishies or healers or things of that nature. So if you do happen to pop this, you could pop this just to go ahead and kill like people in the back line, such as healers and things of that nature. It is strong enough to kill those type of characters. Now, if it's a tank, you might not. I'm pretty sure if it was a tank straight up, you're not going to pretty much kill them. But the DPS players, the squishies, the strategists, you can definitely kill them with this ultimate and keep that moving, man. So just make sure you're aware of that when you're using this. And just, I would suggest that when you're using it, you shoot it more into a crowd that's fighting than individual people. But if you do want to, like I said, target like a squishy in the back line, like a strategist, you could also just solo focus on that person and get the kill on them, man. Now, the last thing we need to talk about is going to be these team ups. And for him, he does have one. It's called Nano Ray. And with this, Iron Man uses nanotechnology to upgrade Ultron's arsenal, enhancing his Ikaplano Ray to Nano Ray. During an active phase, Ultron fires an unstoppable Nano Ray straight ahead that pierces through all characters, delivering massive damage to enemies while simultaneously restoring health to allies, man. This is a channeled casting. The ammo will be infinite. There's no critical hit on it. The range will be 2.5 meter radius, infinite length, cylindrical spell field. The damage will be 70 a second. The damage fall off begins at 20 meters, decreasing to 75% at 30 meters. For the heal, you get 85 a second. This has a 30-second cooldown and a spell field duration of 8 seconds, man. Now, as you can see, when you have this here, you will get your extra button when you play alongside Iron Man, and once you use it, you will shoot out a beam similar to, I would say, like Iron Man's unibeam from his chest, except this one actually goes through multiple enemies and it actually heals your teammates. So again, just be aware that even though he has a lot of abilities that look like they're meant to attack people, it's also meant for you to go out and keep your teammates alive. Now, this team, of my opinion, is actually going to be very, very good this season, specifically due to the fact that flyers are as good as they are. And with Iron Man being one of the better flyers in the game, and then Ultron being out there, this is going to be kind of cheap. I would expect to see this often enough, as this is actually a pretty good team up right here. I'll probably say this is probably very close to just above average. Like, if you have the average team up, this was probably right above that. So again, Ultron and Iron Man, watch out for that. Make sure y'all got somebody to take out these flyers, man. But ultimately, man, Ultron is one of those characters that you're going to go out, and if you don't like flyers, I definitely still say give him a shot, as I was not a person that liked flyers, but after playing with Ultron, I actually enjoy him. So he's very fun to play with. He is a strategist that's somewhat DPS. Well, he looks DPS, but he is really meant to heal people, man. So you can go out and do both effectively. You just got to make sure to take out the time and go ahead and master them abilities, man. But this has been another one of them character breakdowns, and I hope y'all enjoy that, man. But as always, please like, comment, subscribe, follow, share, become a supporter, and catch me streaming on Facebook Gaming and Twitch at ThatBoy ETV. Catch you on the next one. I'm out. Peace.